Islam Makhachev has just sent a clear warning message to Ilia Topuria after losing his coveted pound-for-pound #1 ranking. But here's the twist. The Dagestani champion isn't upset about it. He thinks it's all part of a bigger plan.
Что ты думаешь по поводу того, что тебя сместили внезапно с первой строчки pound for pound?
Ну, это маркетинг. Они делают это специально, чтобы разогреть этот бой. Ну, у людей уже есть интерес к этому. Значит, они делают правильно, и мы будем бороться за первое место в рейтинге.
The former lightweight king had this to say. Well, it's marketing. They're doing it on purpose to promote this fight, so they do it right, and we'll be fighting for the #1 spot in the rankings. Is this UFC's master plan to set up the super fight we've all been waiting for? Let's break it down. Let's start with what just happened. Ilia Topuria has officially overtaken Islam Makhachev as the UFC's pound-for-pound #1 fighter, and the circumstances couldn't be more dramatic.
Outside the training camp, I don't train MMA at all. I do boxing classes, wrestling classes. I try to learn every discipline separate.
Why'd you do that?
Because when the training camp comes, I try to mix it up and polish everything that I have been able to learn till that moment. Do you want to wrestle?
Let's wrestle!
Let's wrestle. No problem. I have the gas tank for 5 days, not 5 rounds. You put him against me, he needs to die and be burned again.
Here's how we got here. Makhachev, who dominated the lightweight division with a record-setting reign, made the bold decision to vacate his 155-pound title to chase welterweight gold. This opened the door for Topuria, who was already making waves as the undefeated featherweight champion. At UFC 317 in June, El Matador seized his moment. He moved up to lightweight and absolutely demolished Charles Oliveira to claim the vacant belt that Makhachev left behind. With this victory, Topuria became the first fighter in UFC history to claim belts in 2 divisions while remaining undefeated. Take a dime.
I think there is a space for a curve. I have. No, it's easy. Aquí Ilia me guapo, con esa cámara te va a costar. Ilia para España.
Ya, no va a España ya.
Muchísimo España, viva. Espero que se hayan sentido orgullosos hoy.
But here's where it gets interesting. Instead of being frustrated by losing his P4P ranking, Makhachev is calling it a strategic move by the UFC. And honestly, he might be right. What's fascinating about Makhachev's reaction is how different it is from other fighters who've lost their pound-for-pound status. Remember when John Jones threw a Twitter tantrum back in 2020 when Khabib Nurmagomedov leapfrogged him?
I think Khabib's an amazing fighter. I think he's done a great job representing the UFC. He's a great ambassador for our sport. But if you were to ask some MMA experts about myself and Khabib, I think most people would be able to tell just our resumes are completely different.
Yours is much deeper. Yeah.
I've fought so many world champions under my belt that I've defeated. Khabib, a lot of his victories are against a lot of people that are relatively unknown, and where I've been fighting legends since I was a young man.
There's no question you.
Not Makhachev. Speaking cageside at UFC Abu Dhabi this past Saturday on Fight Island, the former champion was remarkably composed about the whole situation. It's marketing, he said with confidence. They're doing it on purpose to hype up a Topuria versus Makhachev fight. People are already interested in it. They are doing the right thing. We will fight for the #1 spot in the rankings.
Что ты думаешь по поводу того, что тебя сместили внезапно с первой строчки pound for pound?
Ну, это маркетинг. Они делают это специально, чтобы разогреть этот бой. Ну, у людей уже есть интерес к этому. Значит, они делают правильно, и мы будем бороться за первое место в рейтинге.
This isn't just damage control. This is a fighter who understands the business side of MMA. Makhachev recognizes that creating this narrative makes their eventual clash even bigger. Think about it. Instead of just champion versus champion, we now have the current pound-for-pound king versus the former pound-for-pound king, both fighting to prove who truly deserves that top spot. The Dagestani fighter even revealed that his next fight against welterweight champion Jack Della Maddalena is 90% finalized for November at Madison Square Garden. Win that, And suddenly we're looking at a two-division champion versus two-division champion super fight.
Bilal, I mean, he was the 170 champ. Islam's the 155 champ. They're very, very close in their abilities. This isn't like Islam's going to walk up to 170 and just walk through Jack Della Maddalena.
But let's not forget about Ilia Topuria's side of this story, because El Matador isn't just talking, he's making some seriously bold claims. In a recent interview with Fox Sports Australia, Topuria made it crystal clear where he stands. Islam, he's a great fighter. He's the no, 1 pound for pound. For the people and for me, it's me, myself. I'm the best fighter in the world. I know that I can do with him whatever I want to do, because I know that I'm much better than him.
So what makes you want to move up to 155?
Because I really believe that I can beat the current champion, Islam. You can't be a world champion by chance, you know, you have to do things great.
He's a beast.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah.
But I like the competition. And I don't like to be a bully and fight with people that I know 100% that I'm gonna whoop his ass, you know? I like to fight with people that the fans think that it's gonna be very competitive.
Those are fighting words if I've ever heard them. Topuria isn't just confident, he's supremely confident. And you know what? He's backing it up in the octagon. The Spanish-Georgian fighter has expressed interest in following Makhachev's path up to welterweight, potentially becoming the first fighter in UFC history to claim titles in 3 separate weight classes. That's Alexander the Great's levels of ambition right there. Dana White has already given his blessing to this potential super fight, but only if both fighters win one more fight first. For Makhachev, that's the welterweight title fight against Della Maddalena. For Topuria, he needs to make his first lightweight title defense.
Is there any headway on Islam, Makhachev, and Jack Della Maddalena if that title fight's going to get booked soon?
I'll let you know when we get it done.
And just kind of piggybacking off that, obviously with Ilia's win, you know, everyone's really excited to potentially see a future fight with him and Islam. I know that's the fight that people wanted. Ilia said earlier this week that if Islam loses that fight, he wouldn't give the opportunity for Islam to fight for his belt again. Is that something you'd bypass? Because that seems like such a big fight to make.
I mean, this is all talk.
Speculative.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
But I imagine that's a fight you guys would want to make at some point. I mean, just the magnitude of it.
I mean, I'd make that fight tomorrow.
Likely, Dotto. Here's what makes this whole situation so compelling. We're witnessing the UFC's matchmaking machine at its finest. Think about the narrative they've created. 2 undefeated champions at the top of their games, both with legitimate claims to being the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. One is moving up in weight. The other is following the same path. It's like a chess match playing out in real time.
I think that a lot of good welterweights, obviously I think Islam's what he's done is probably given him, I think he deserves a shot if he wants to step up, but I guess that's not my call. It's up to the UFC.
The beauty of Makhachev's approach is that he wins regardless of what happens with Della Maddalena. If he captures the welterweight title, the Topuria fight becomes even bigger, a true super fight between 2 division champions. If he loses, well, he's still one of the most dangerous fighters on the planet with a legitimate grudge to settle. And let's be honest, after years of seeing potential super fights fall apart due to injuries, contract disputes, or simple bad luck, it's refreshing to see 2 elite fighters actively working toward making this happen. So where do we go from here? The roadmap is actually pretty clear, which is rare in this sport. Makhachev faces Jack Della Maddalena for the welterweight title, likely in November at Madison Square Garden. Current reports have them penciled in for UFC 322. And Makhachev says the fight is 90% finalized. One as what of pretty using that. Meanwhile, Topuria needs to make his first lightweight title defense. Dana White and the UFC brass are likely weighing their options between Justin Gaethje, who brings star power and knockout ability, Paddy Pimblett, who has that British fan base, or Arman Tsarukyan, who represents the most technical challenge. The timeline could work perfectly. Both fighters handle their business by early 2026, and then we get the super fight we've all been waiting for. 2 pound-for-pound kings, potentially both holding belts in multiple once and for all. What we're witnessing here isn't just typical fight promotion. It's elite-level psychological warfare combined with smart business strategy. Makhachev's calm, calculated response to losing his pound-for-pound ranking shows the mindset of a true champion. He's not dwelling on what he's lost. He's focused on what he can gain. And Topuria? He's proven he can back up his bold words with devastating performances in the octagon. The question isn't if these 2 will fight, it's when, and what titles will be on the line when they do. This is shaping up to be one of the biggest super fights in UFC history, and for once, it feels like all the pieces are falling into place. That's all for this segment of MMA Central. Keep following the story because something tells me this is just the beginning. We'll be back with more breaking news after this short break.